Edward Carbazel here for MMAnews.com. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the MMAnews.com YouTube channel, where I submit all these Sunday submission videos. This one will be about UFC 254, which we just finished. So if you like what we're doing here at MMA News, make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel for more of our video content, where we have interviews and things like this going at MMAnews.com. So I submitted it. Obviously, if you're noticing the different lighting, new headset, by the way. If you're noticing the different lighting, it's because in keeping with the theme of doing things early, I decided to record this week's Sunday submission on Saturday night. It's UFC 254 has been over about maybe 3-4 hours now. 6 o'clock my time, I think it was when the press conference was done. Anyway, there's a lot to take away from the event. And I have it up on the website here, which you can see in the window. Obviously the biggest takeaway, before I even get into the 7 takeaways that I listed, is that with the Khabib Nurmagomedov announcing his retirement after his second round submission win over Justin Gaethje. So let's go ahead and just get right into it. All right, so 29-0 is a significant number. Everybody knows about the loss of his father, and how it impacted him and the relationship that they had. So I guess we should have seen it coming, but it's one of those things where it's like because he's so young, we're still not expecting it to happen. And a couple other things that came out as I watched the post-fight press conference when I was finishing up the 7 takeaways piece, that I actually I didn't include it because I was cleaning it up and submitting it before Dana White and all them had said what they said, or it didn't sink in because it's kind of I think we all kind of got hit out of left field with the him announcing his retirement. But one of the things that Dana White said, and Kevin Iole, who literally just before I went live here tweeted out a piece he's working on for Yahoo Sports, where he spoke with Khabib's team. So apparently he went into fight camp with the mumps, and then after he got over that, he broke his foot in training. And it's funny it's not funny, but I noticed in the first round, after the long ass introductions and all that, and they started facing off, I saw he had his the toe next to his pinky toe on his left foot, or they were taped together, those last 2 toes, or the 2 middle toes, and it turns out the break was within those toes. So that was something that he kept from the UFC and the doctors and everything, because he wanted to fulfill the obligation to the title fight against Justin, and just not make any excuses and fight. So it's just crazy that that on top of the loss of his father, getting sick early in camp, foot break a couple weeks out, it's crazy that he was still able to do what he did. Now 2 judges, and I tweeted this out. If you follow me on Twitter, it's at Carbazel, Carbazel. If you follow me on Twitter, I tweeted out the image of the judges' scorecard. 2 judges, I think one was Sal D'Amato, and their names don't matter, but 2 out of the 3 judges actually had Justin Gaethje winning the first round. It's weird because, all of Gaethje's shots were power shots. You could hear him putting a lot behind them. The leg kicks were definitely landing. There was a overhand right that he would throw that landed. I counted 3 in the first round. I know the CompuBox counted more when they put the graphic on the screen during the broadcast, but they were all pretty heavy shots, and it looked like they were rattling Nurmagomedov, but he stayed focused, which is testament to the type of champion that he is. So the two judges had scored 10-9 for Gaethje. But then at the end of round one, we all saw, Khabib got the takedown, went to mount, and almost got an armbar, a very close armbar. I have no idea if it was the glove of Gaethje that it was pinned behind. If I'm remembering the submission right, he almost did like an old school defense where you kind of use the other guy's legs to protect your arm from getting taken, but he did it with one arm because his other hand was, I don't know what his other hand was doing, but Gaethje almost got submitted at the end of the first round. It was like 19 seconds left when that position was secured. So then round two comes, and it's more of the same, but Khabib gets the takedown early, and then the way he just transitioned to the scramble. I mean, if there's a mistake that could have been prevented or whatever you want to call it, I mean, it's hard against somebody that's probably going to go down as arguably the best mixed martial artist to fight in the sport, definitely in the UFC. In Nurmagomedov, he as soon as any sort of grabbing or clinching that you do with him, it's going to seal your fate. And it looks like that's how Khabib kind of got to the second takedown in round two. Because again, one of the things that I think Cormier pointed out was how Gaethje was committed so much to putting everything behind his strikes. When you throw something that powerful, it's hard to not recapture your balance and stuff. That little, I mean, it seems like a short amount of time to us watching, but these guys trained for this, and that little bit amount of time in Gaethje moving or whatever, that's when Khabib takes advantage. So he again took him down, took his back, went to mount, and then did a mounted triangle where he kind of could have gone for an armbar too. And then when he went to his back, Gaethje actually tapped from the triangle submission, but the way he was positioned and being on top position, you never know. I mean, it looked like he was still trying to get out from the triangle, but he did tap, and Khabib, being the trained fighter that he is, didn't let go, but he looked to the referee to make sure that the match was over before he released the choke, and by then Gaethje was already out, and he got the submission in the second round. There's a lot of stuff out there about the relationships and to his family had and stuff like that. But I mean, when you just talk about martial arts and the athleticism in the event, it's definitely something that excuse me, it's definitely something that you have to watch. He's been training since he was a kid. So someone like that, I saw people saying you're probably not going to see, you're probably not going to see someone like him, MMA is probably 25, 30 years old. You're not going to see someone like him for a long time. And he's so young. The thing is, what's weird, you could tell during the broadcast that Daniel Cormier himself was even shocked at the announcement. Not shocked, but surprised and emotional for him because they're teammates. Excuse me. And with the weather's changing here in Jersey, so we had a 70-degree day today, and it's going to be like 50 tomorrow, so everybody's going to get sick. Not COVID sick, but just our regular Jersey sick. Good old Jersey cough. Anyway, yeah. So the type of fighter that he is, and when someone that trains for this type of combat from, when there's little and they can walk, we're seeing those fighters come out now. Like you're looking at guys like Aaron Pico and a lot of younger fighters. We saw Bellamir, who fought at Icon 2 on when was that, Thursday night? She had her MMA debut in Mexico. She's 17 years old, and her father's Frank Mir. So imagine there's only growth from that young age. Even Aaron Pico, who's in his early 20s, they're only going to get better over time. So it's definitely something that we're going to start seeing. Maybe Khabib is the first run of those guys, and we're going to start seeing guys like that. But it's going to be a while. The two other fighters I mentioned, they have a long time to get as good as he spent his whole life training and fighting. And a lot of that was due to his father. So I think that's why we're seeing him walk away, because if you know, for some reason I thought about the relationship Mike Tyson had with Cus D'Amato and how he changed when D'Amato passed. You know, he kept boxing, but he wasn't the same. And in combat sports, it's super, super unlikely that you're going to walk away, you know, the not being carried out or off a law. You know, a lot of fighters retire after losses or a string of losses. Khabib has had none. So who else went out on a win? George St. Pierre. You know, Ben Askren almost did it until he came to the UFC. You know, and then he was announced his retirement when he was a championship champ over at one championship, and then, you know, wanted to check that UFC bucket list off, and that's where he picked up. He was undefeated too, and that's where he got all his losses. So Khabib has definitely achieved something that's we're probably not going to see. You know, we're probably not going to see for a long time. So definitely, it's the last takeaway of my 7 takeaways piece that I'm looking at here over at MMAnews.com. It's there's a quote that Dana White said at the post-fight press conference. We're lucky we got to see what we saw tonight. And I guess when you look at sports and sports history, you know, you get guys that get all emotional over baseball and things that happen in other sports. For us, this is one of those things. Excuse me. Saturday night. Don't mind if I do. So, I mean, I spent the better part of 11 minutes talking about that. It's weird because, like, Brett Okamoto tweeted that he was sad, and I'm kind of like, yeah, you know what? I think we're all a little. It's almost a combination of being shocked, sad, however you want to call it. It's definitely one of those things where it's kind of like, you know, nobody was expecting it. And, you know, with him gone, he vacates his title. And the lightweight division, the 155-pound division, never mind in the UFC and all MMA, it's super stacked. It's a Shark Tank no matter what promotion you're looking at, and especially in the UFC. So when we look at you know, where this leaves the lightweight division, I think that's one of the reasons. If you did watch a post-fight press conference, Dana White kind of didn't want to address any questions about the future or anything like that. I mean, he was in awe, of course, of, like, because now you're looking at an undefeated career with that high a number, because usually guys can go 10-15. You know, Israel Adesanya's up there, but at undefeated. But, you know, usually like around 11, 12, 13 guys will that are undefeated, they'll pick up that L at some point. And I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I had money on Justin Gaethje tonight. I've been following Justin Gaethje since WSOF. I was hoping to wear the World Series of Fighting shirt tonight, but hey, you know, it happens. And again, 29-0 is nothing to scoff at. So, but, you know, the show will go on. The lightweight division definitely has a lot of fights to make, which was my first takeaway when I started this piece, because one of the things that folks it didn't really go under the radar for fans that follow the sport regularly, but if you're a casual fan that was tuning in just because of the names on the card, you probably saw, excuse me, they had him in the broadcast. Michael Chandler was there as backup. He was made weight and everything. If you saw the weigh-in video of Khabib making weight, it looked like he struggled on the scale, but I guess now we know maybe it wasn't from the weight cut. Maybe it was because of his foot and trying to walk around on it. He moved pretty good for a guy with a broken foot, though, during the fight. Anyway, so Michael Chandler came in, made weight, and you know, he's looking. We keep hearing his name put together a lot with Tony Ferguson. But again, when you look at Khabib walking away and a title up for grabs, it literally can be anybody's. It can be anybody's fight. So we can see him versus Ferguson, him versus Gaethje. I know Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor are supposed to do their thing in January. But if anybody wants to make a claim for 155, And last I heard, nothing was signed as far as that fight goes. So if nothing hasn't been signed yet, I wouldn't be shocked if Poirier or Conor says, "Hey, wait a second, let me fight whoever to if we're gonna do this title eliminator or vacant title fight." Let's see if the UFC will actually use their rankings and put something together like this. Because if this is the case, the champ won. He beaten up the number one guy in Justin Gaethje. We'd have to look at the rankings on Tuesday because that's when they get updated and see who. See if we can look them up right now. Actually, we got time. Let's see, UFC rankings. One of the things that Khabib Nurmagomedov requested in his the only media I saw him do, I mean, there could be stuff going out there now. I know Justin Gaethje did a lot of interviews, was that he go, jump up in the pound for pound. He's number 2 on pound for pound. I think he wants to be number 1. And at 29-0, I don't see any point in arguing with the man. Let's go. So, come on, fucking UFC website. Sorry for cursing. Here we go. Jesus, what is happening here? Can I not look at anything? So Justin Gaethje is still listed as number 1. They have Tony Ferguson at number 3. Conor McGregor's number 4 for some reason. And Dan Hooker is number 5. And then you have Michael Chandler, who has been insistent about fighting any of the top 5 guys there because he wants to back up what he's been saying, for the long time that he's been in the sport. So it's definitely going to be interesting. We're in October, the end of October, 2021 in the lightweight division. If you thought it was interesting with Khabib there as a champ, it's certainly going to be exciting as we move forward to fill that spot and get somebody with a new belt. So speaking of belts, let's go back to the 7 takeaways here. In the flyweight division, Miranda Maverick. So I know a lot of our content at MMAnews.com is very UFC centric, but it pays to watch the regional stuff and other stuff. Miranda Maverick came out of Invicta Fighting Championships, and this is why it's good to pay attention to it. A lot of people didn't know anything about her. She fought Liana Jojua. I'm trying not to butcher her name. First round stoppage in the corner because of the cut she landed. I wonder if I can play this for you without the audio. Let's see. I'll mute it so that it doesn't. I'm trying not to get any strikes here because we know how the UFC do. There we go. Look at that. Straight down the middle. Watch his elbow right on the bridge of the nose. And that's the fight that cut Jojua. That ended the fight. And if you watch the entire fight, well, it's only the first round, but if you watch that fight, when I tweeted out something that she kind of looked like Roy Jones Jr. back in the day when he boxed in his prime to dominate dudes, and I mean, Jojua, to her credit, didn't quit, and she was disputing the stoppage. Let me take that out because it's all slow here with all the ads. Sorry, MMAnews.com. I know that's how the money comes in, but it's annoying. She's definitely gonna make some trouble in the 125-pound division. If you saw her climb in the Invicta FC, I'm telling you, man, the UFC, if you don't know it now, you know, they farm a lot of their female content out of Invicta Fighting Championships. So if you're gonna watch anything outside of Bellator, UFC, PFL, or whoever, right now I feel like the third top promotion is debatable because PFL didn't do their season this year. But usually outside, if you're gonna watch anything outside of those, watch Invicta because a lot of talent comes out of there. Whether it be Bellator, UFC, or wherever they wind up, a lot of talent comes out of there. Angela Hill fought there. Rose Namajunas fought there. Michelle Waterson fought there. Whew, the list goes on and on. So pay attention to the promotions like LFA, Invicta FC, and what have you, because you're going to get a lot of top talent. That's where you're going to see these people. These fighters don't come out of nowhere. They come from promotions like that. So definitely make it a point to pay attention. But so she's going to be a problem for the flyweight division. Then the other takeaway was the rematch between Magomed Ankalaev, where Ankalaev and Ion Kudaleba had their rematch. So if you saw their first fight, the first fight, the stoppage was disputed, or people saw it was a bad stoppage because Kutaleba was kind of like still on his feet, and it looked like he was going to lose anyway, but it looked like he could still fight back. This time, you didn't have to worry about that. I know you saw. You just go to the link, the 7 takeaways link over at MMAnews.com, so that you can check out the highlight. I added the highlight of the knockout, first round KO, no question this time. And that was definitely something I thought was worth writing about because it's a fight that folks wanted to see, and we finally got it, and the statement was made, and that's where it was left. So again, make sure you check out the go to MMAnews.com, check out the 7 takeaways piece, and the full results and everything are there too, and a lot of highlight video. So and then we had Bobby Knuckles, Robert Whittaker, and Jared Cannonier. I tell you what, that's another bad pick on my part. If you looked at the predictions that I submitted to MMAnews.com, I had Justin Gaethje winning, and I had Jared Cannonier winning. I thought he'd pull off a decision at least, but apparently Robert Whittaker, as long as his mind is in a good place, and his body is healthy, it looks like he's going to continue to be a force at 185 pounds. After UFC 253, Israel Adesanya wanted to. He called out. He said Jared Cannonier gets next if he gets past Robert Whittaker, but he didn't get past Robert Whittaker. He lost. So, if anything, Adesanya is going to have another future potential date with Robert Whittaker, and hey, maybe when Dana White didn't really want to discuss the future tonight at the post-fight press conference, but maybe in the future, if there's if the fans can start going back to arenas and stuff like that, they go back to Australia and do it again, and I feel like that would be a good time. I'm sorry I counted Robert Whittaker out. I mean, hey, there's a lot to be said about the power of positivity and having your head in a good spot. He had a lot of stuff he was dealing with health-wise, and he took some time off, and he came back, and it looks like it paid off for him. So that was definitely something to take note of. I think he was the only one that I saw at the post-fight press conference that spoke. I know they were talking to other fighters that didn't go on that stream when the UFC aired it, because I know they spoke with Tai Tuivasa. Again, Gaethje did multiple interviews afterwards. Obviously, Khabib was emotional, and that was my 7th. The 6th and 7th takeaway that I wrote about kind of go together because they both have to do with Khabib's retirement and the reaction by Dana White and the UFC and what's going to happen left at 155 pounds after that. I'll tell you what, man, this card absolutely delivered. Again, and people that know me, if you follow the podcast that I do, Coast to Coast Combat Hour, you follow me on Twitter at Carbazel, Carbazel, you'll know that I do not have any one favorite. I watch the entire sport. I'm not a UFC nut hugger, but this was definitely an event that, it was early, so I loved that because I mean, right now, again, you'll probably see this on the MMAnews.com YouTube channel because this is Sunday submission, so they'll probably put it up on Sunday. But it's 9:05 p.m. on a Saturday night. Usually around this time, the final fight of the prelims is airing when I'm watching fights here on the East Coast, and then then we fall into the the main card starts at 10, and then usually midnight, 1:30 in the morning is when we're getting all our stuff, and that's not for nothing. That's where the Sunday submission comes from, because most events end late Saturday night, and we make this for the Sunday morning, Monday morning crowd for folks to watch and catch up on stuff if they didn't catch any details, if they just watch the fight and went about their business. So today was a really good day. I don't know if it was the early timing. That was actually my first takeaway or my second takeaway about how early the event was. A lot of people didn't know. I had people asking me literally like Saturday, Monday, Tuesday. I was getting texts like, "Hey, what time does this card start?" And I was like, "It's early, man. Make sure because there's people literally, oh, you want to come over Saturday night, watch the fights?" And I was like, "Yeah, what fights we watching? Because UFC's on early." So, and it was. So it's definitely something that you got to pay attention to, because it doesn't happen often. Sometimes we'll get a rare Sunday night event, or we'll get now they just get the news alert about Khabib's foot. Apparently it was 3 weeks out that the foot was broken. So if you rewatch, it was the first thing I noticed, and I didn't tweet anything or say anything about it because it was a small piece of tape. So it was like, okay, maybe blister or you stub your toe or something like that. I dislocated my pinky toe in jiu-jitsu once, and my coach laughed it off and was just had me tape it up. So definitely something that I didn't think was as bad as it was. And then now, between Kevin Iles' news and the stuff that's coming out right now about the battle with the mumps and stuff like that, it's weird how the reaction. I was hinting at it before, Daniel Cormier's reaction to Khabib's news. So they trained together over at AKA, and Daniel Cormier even said, "I thought we had one more as a team," because they still train together and stuff. Even though Cormier is retired, he was like, "I thought we had one more in him. I thought we were going to do one more." And that was the other thing. Dana White didn't want to talk about it. If you remember, I think it was for the UFC 253 press event or fight week or whatever, because they keep asking him about boxing. I've heard the rumors. Nothing. I don't know. I'm pretty sure nothing is confirmed. We'll probably hear about it once, because I feel like Dana White's keeping it in his back pocket, which is why he kind of didn't want to address it when the media asked about it, because someone asked him. They said, you had something. Someone asked him, you said before that you had something big in mind for 2021 involving Khabib Nurmagomedov. Can you tell us what that is now? And Dana White was like, no, I don't want to. And that's when he kind of shut his portion of the post-fight press conference down. He was like, I don't really want to talk about it because, I think everybody was just taken aback by it. I mean, obviously, there was a really it's worth mentioning. They put together a really nice tribute piece for Khabib's father, which it was definitely something. It was deep, and it just seems like everybody was taken aback by the retirement announcement. So whatever it is that Dana White was going to announce or plan with him, my opinion is the reason why he didn't answer that or let out what it was or what it was going to be is because he wants to, when he and Khabib do talk about whatever the UFC's exit process is for fighters that retire, he's probably going to say, hey, before we do this, just FYI, I was thinking of doing this for you in 2021, because now he's 29-0. So if it was an MMA fight, they could have evened him out at 30-0 and have him retired. Or maybe it was so one of the things I heard was that one of the because of the whole Zuffa boxing thing, they were going to try to do a boxing event in Abu Dhabi and to kind of bring eyeballs to it, make the exhibition, do a Mayweather Khabib thing the way they did it with Mayweather McGregor, just strictly boxing. But that's just I I think I saw a tweet or something about it. It wasn't anything that was confirmed or that I can cite to you. So it's probably all, hearsay and bullshit anyway. But anyway, that's it for this week's Sunday submission. UFC 254 Saturday night edition. Thank you for watching, for those that tuned in. Again, if you do like what we're doing here at MMAnews.com, make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We got a lot of interviews. We got a lot of some of the best people in the game doing interviews for us. James Lynch, Cole Shelton, Canada's best MMA yappers, doing a lot of interviews for MMAnews.com. So make sure you check us out. Tune in. If you like these videos that I do, please give them a thumbs up. I've seen the ones that have been there. Again, you can always drop questions, comments. I stream this on my Twitch and Periscope, but the video goes to YouTube for MMAnews.com. And I always check for comments and questions there. I only got one in the, I don't know how many I've done so far, but I only got one so far. But if you do like them, and you drop a question there, I'll definitely answer it on the next Sunday submission. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm tapping out. I'll see you next week. Enjoy your weekend.